Okay, I'm with Serial Rabbit 7, Critical Rabbit Theory writer and director. I'm with Brett Mauser. Hi, Brett. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, yeah, we were just kind of getting into it before I hit record. But yeah, so we're talking about two things. We're talking about Serial Rabbit 7, Critical Rabbit Theory. We're also talking about your documentary, Long Shot, because they're connected here.
Yes.
But yeah, let's actually start a little bit before we get to the film. Who are you, and how did how the origins of Serial Rabbit as well as Long Shot come about?
Okay. Well, I'm an independent filmmaker out of Texas, and I've been doing this for many years. I started in high school all the way back in the late '80s. I've got over 40 feet. Actually, I think I'm at 45 feature films right now, 40 short films. It's just my life. It's what I love to do. I recently went back to school a few years ago to finish my master's, so I'm actually a film professor now. So I teach film and video production. And the concept of what we're doing with Long Shot and Serial Rabbit was actually inspired by Film Threat. There was a podcast that y'all had done, and I'd seen a little short that you had put up. And Chris mentioned, hey, anyone in our audience can go make a movie. And I went down and I read the comments, and there were a lot of people just saying, well, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. And I thought, no, you've got to get out there and do it, because I think a lot of people kind of think that they want to make this big, epic, perfect film their first time out. And that's not going to happen. You have to practice, you have to learn. And I wanted to inspire people to just pick up a camera, whether it's your phone, whether it's your next door neighbor's old VHS camera, get out there and shoot something and learn how to make movie and get better and better and better at it. Your first film, you don't even need to show anybody if you don't, if you don't want to, but at least you've gone out there, you've learned, you found out if you want to do this, if you're any good at it, or if you think you can become good at it.
Yeah. Well, let me interrupt
Sure.
you at that point. I mean, that's really important because that first movie may not make it your magnum opus, but make something, short film, because you'll learn a lot, and you're going to learn a lot from your mistakes, and
Exactly.
that's important. You
Yes.
got to start making those mistakes. You got to realize, oh my God, I don't have the right lighting, I don't have the right sound. Boy, if I had shot that differently, or that's the importance of making that first movie. And believe me, we get a lot of first movies at Film Threat that we watch, and it's like, all right, it's not a good movie, but you made that first movie, and I could see the potential in that.
Exactly.
And now go make your second movie and bring it back to us.
Yes. I mean, even our latest film, which is doing really well at festivals, is The Oldest Posse. I love it. It's a callback to the old spaghetti westerns, and it's pretty good. But I can still sit back and I can poke holes in it, and I can say, okay, I should have done this. I need to do this. The editing could be a little tighter here, or I can go back and I still learn on every film. And I've been doing this for 30 plus years. You're always learning, and I think that's the important key to just getting out there and doing it. It's like what we do with our students. We teach them the principles, and then we have them do it. Then we teach them more principles, then we have them do it. You've got to learn, do, learn, do, learn, do, and that's how you get better and better.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, because you mentioned that you got this from Film Thread in the first episode of Long Shot. Yeah, you posted a clip of ours.
Yes.
Chris is talking, and I'm sitting there picking my nose. So let's talk about Serial Rabbit 7. Okay, so from Long Shot. Well, let's talk about Long Shot because you document your journey of making Serial Rabbit 7,
Mm-hmm.
and what the first thing that stuck out to me in that documentary is truly you just got your friends together and you made a movie. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's where I started out. That's where I think the majority of filmmakers start out. When you're in high school or when you're in college, you look around and you see what you have. It's resource filmmaking. It's looking at what you have at your disposal, and then taking that and then writing your movie around what you have. That way, you're not writing this giant space epic, and you love the script, and then you get to production and you're like, well, where am I going to find all this stuff, or where am I going to find this actor or that actress? And this way you have somebody, you have a group of friends who already know who you are, have already worked with you, or just you've gone to prom with, or you hung out in high school with, but you know each other, and it's going to be a lot easier because there's not a lot of clashing personalities, and there's going to be a lot of leeway, and it does add an element of fun, which makes it a lot easier, especially on your first film. And if things go wrong, you can laugh at it rather than having to wait, having a professional that you're paying and looking at you going, what are you doing? You have no idea what you're into. You don't know what you're doing. I feel like I'm wasting my time. Rather than that, you have friends who can just laugh and go, hey, no worries, we'll get it better the next time.
Yeah. And so I mentioned this in the review. It's like you you made Serial Rabbit 247 for $2,000. You revealed that a half of that went to insurance.
Yes.
And I mentioned in the review that you made $2,000 look like 10. I mean, this is how well impressed I am with this movie.
Thank you.
I mean, so what? So the $1,000 of actual money you had. I mean, I assume you had your equipment already.
Yes, and we cover that in the series, and so, explaining that we do have a lot of equipment, and it's you couldn't get our equipment for just $2,500.
Yeah.
But the premise of the series is to use what you have access to, and as we progress through the series, and we say, oh well, we use these lights, we use this camera, we give alternatives, and we say, hey, instead of using this $2,500 or this $250 light kit, you can go down to Walmart and get a $10 or $15 work lamp and a white sheet, and you can get the same effect. It's going to be, you got to jury rig it a bit, but you're going to be able to get it accomplished. And instead of spending $50 on this reflector, get a 35-cent piece of white poster board. And we give the alternatives to show you how to get the exact same look without spending the money that we used on the equipment that we use, that we've gathered over the years.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an important aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, of the little bit of filmmaking I've ever done, I had my studio was a photography shop that a photography studio that a guy I knew, and he gave me a reasonable rate for it. So lights were already built in. We had green screens and backgrounds we could play with, and it's just looking around, and we definitely shot it on our cameras and bought a really cheap Zoom microphone. And I thought for what we had, I thought we did a fairly good job.
Yeah, and I think that's what is an important aspect is even if you step away going, oh, that wasn't, I don't really like the film, or it didn't come out the way I wanted to. Even though the critics and the reviewers are not going to be able to take that into consideration, saying, well, look at what they had to work with, you can, as a filmmaker, and realize, okay, well, they're gonna judge me on the basis of Barbie and Casablanca, but I know that I didn't have those resources. My next one will be better, and now that I know I need to get this light or this camera, and I think that's an important thing for a filmmaker to realize is, you may get some bad criticisms, bad reviews, but they're not understanding what you had to work with, and even though that's not something you want to put in your log line of your movie, you still want to take it to heart and understand that that's why your film didn't look the way it is. You didn't have the money or the resources, and that's not your fault. You'll get there. Just keep doing it, and you'll get better and better and better.
Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned, cost 2,000, made it look like 10. What were some of the? How did you? What was your approach to actually filming it? I mean, I think when you have no money, what you do have are tricks and camera tricks and techniques. What was your inspiration for that? And what would you suggest for someone who is doing a micro budget movie to do in terms of cinematography?
The very first thing is the concept of sort of a philosophy of mine, inside the box. You shoot inside the box, and this sort of comes back from when I was in high school. Before I entered video, I was going to be a magician. I was going to do sleight of hand and illusions. And then when I realized, well, there's no college to go to for magic, I said, well, I got to pick something, and I chose video. So I think that has a lot to play with how I'm able to hide so much. When you learn coin magic and things like that, you're learning what to hide from the audience using misdirection and things like that. And follows into the inside the box, that 16 by 9 or 4:3 or whatever aspect ratio is the only thing that's forever. That's the only thing that matters. So if you're in Denver, or if you're pretending that you're in Denver, but you've got a palm tree in the background, just frame that palm tree out, and you're not going to see it. And that's something to keep in mind, that nothing exists in that world outside of the box. So if there's a guy off screen with a blood hose spraying up blood, that guy does not exist in the universe of your film. It doesn't exist inside that box. So that's the first key to being able to manipulate and use the best of your resources that you have. The second is have fun. Especially on your first ones, because if you're not having fun, it's too miserable of a job to to do in the first place. Taking into account what you have, again, resource filmmaking, look at what you have and write towards that, and that eliminates so much stress because you're not running around trying to find this or try to find that, which are some of the things that we ran into in Sierra Rabbit 7. We seem to always have these nightclub or rave scenes in our movies, and no one ever shows up. So there's a rave with like 3 people, and we ran into that again this time. And it was just a lack of forethought on our part to consider. Look, we don't have a lot of money. We're not going to be able to pay extras and things like that. So we should have considered that, and it wound up being a major pain in the butt for us, and really caused a lot of the value, the production value of the film to go down because we didn't have what we wanted to have.
Yeah. All right. So sorry, I was just seeing the camera freeze up there a bit. All right. So let's and then I would say, one thing you brought up is, the equipment, and just realize that, you buy a camera for your first film that carries over into your second film. And a lot of the props, a lot of the equipment used, it just carries over. That's the whole concept of depreciation.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can go out and make a movie anytime we want now. We spent money. I mean, my first camera was a VHS. Then I upgraded to a mini DV, then an XL2, then a DSLR, and now we're on a cinema camera. But over the years, we've also collected costumes and prop guns and fog in a can, and you just pick up these things along the way, so that now when you want to make a movie, you've got all these resources in boxes in your garage. The Syrian Rabbit costume just lives in a box in my garage, and we can take it out anytime we want, and we don't have to spend money on it because the money's already been spent.
Yeah.
So it's just collecting that inventory over the years.
Yeah. And not to promote Film Threat too much, but we do cover technology at times, and the fact that cameras are getting cheaper and they're getting better. We were talking about a Sony 5K camera or 8K. I forget but you could buy one for $4,000 now, and that allows you to cheat. And if something gets in the box, you could zoom in on the box in editing, and knock remove the guy who is holding the blood hose.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sony, I just talked to a guy from Sony who they have these very small cameras, like about the same size of a cell phone, but they're 4K cameras, high quality 4K cameras, and they're $1,000 each.
Yeah,
which is incredible. So and then all the off the shelf stuff, After Effects, the ability to do science fiction, to do computer graphics. That world is available to you.
Yeah, I tell my students I'm so envious of them, because in this generation, what you have right now, with Adobe Creative Cloud or DaVinci, with all this software you can get practically so inexpensively right now. There is nothing in your head that you can't get on the screen now. And I'm so envious of this generation. I wish I had this stuff when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And, the height. I mean, we're looking at a new wanting to get a new camera that's 6K cinema camera, shoots raw, all that stuff for $3,000.
Oh, yeah.
And this is stuff that can go on Netflix and Amazon and just looks beautiful.
Yeah, and there's a Sci-Fi Filmmaker Society that helps each other out in terms of, like, they sent me a short that was essentially, it was Jurassic Park.
Hmm.
but done by indie filmmakers. And so they're interacting with dinosaurs that aren't there, and it looks, it looks, probably may not. It's not
Oh, I know.
ILM.
We've bought in some storybox stuff or something with a
Yeah,
dinosaur in the background and tried to put it into movies before, and it looks like Birdemic. And you just like, wow, we move on, just get it
yeah.
done.
All right, let's talk about why we're here. Let's talk about Serial Rabbit 7, Critical
Yes,
Rabbit Theory. So this is a ongoing series. You I believe you made Serial Rabbit, the origin, like
yes.
2005, something like that. Tell me about the series and this latest edition.
Well, Serial Rabbit 1, the very first one was made because I lost a bet. There was just a little character in, I just like throwing weird stuff in my movies sometimes. And a guy in a bunny rabbit suit just happened to get run over by a car for no reason. And we left it off. And my producer said, I want to know why that guy was in the road. And I made a bet, lost the bet, and had to make it. So we shot it in like 5 days. It was a 45-page script, and we finished that. We were proud of it, but it was just so bad we took it off the shelves, and nobody will probably ever see it again. And then Serial Rabbits have become those movies that we just blow off steam. It's just about, because we do a lot of films that we take very seriously. And we had, when we shot Serial Rabbit 3, we had just finished The Innocent Saga, which was 10 feature films in 1 year. And we just needed to blow off steam. We could take all that craziness and all those stupid jokes that we thought of on our serious movies, but couldn't do because they were serious, and put them into Serial Rabbit. And Serial Rabbit 3 was really where it became that satirical, comical type of a film. And then 10 years later, we did Serial Rabbit 5, which we just kind of went all gonzo on. It was just crazy insanity. And it was just, again, we had made 2 or 3 very serious films in a row, and just wanted to blow off steam and have fun and make fun of everything. They're always very satirical, quite often very offensive, but we enjoy that kind of stuff. And we kind of, and then this recently we've been getting much better, doing much better work in our films. We had just finished Night Watchman, which was a 6 episode series, science fiction epic. We're very, very proud of that one. And then we've just finished The Oldest Posse, which is a Western that is doing really well. We've got a couple more film festivals that we're going to appear in. And when this came up, I was worried that, well, we're going to do another Serial Rabbit movie, and we've been doing so well with these serious movies. Are we taking a step back, and are we going to be ruining our reputation by doing another Serial Rabbit movie, and especially one that's done with no money? The production value is not going to be there. It's going to be very fast. It's going to be bad. But do we do it anyways? And I kept on reminding myself, this is about teaching. This is about learning. This isn't about our ego. This isn't about a reputation. This is about showing people how to make a movie with no money. So we said Serial Rabbit is the perfect way to do it. You can be satirical, and by being offensive, you can also teach other lessons. There are some scenes in the movie that we pushed the envelope on, and we did some stuff that we were like, I think this is going to be too far. And then we were able to screen the movie with the cast and sit down and discuss it and say, look, the point of this was to be offensive, but did we go over the line? And the whole cast and crew was able to come together and say, well, what if we do this instead? What if we pull this and that? And it became a community effort. And it was a great learning experience, again, for myself, because I'm usually just like, I'm going to do whatever I want to. But I was able to collaborate more with people. So it was a learning experience for me as well. So that's sort of where Serial Rabbits have always come from. It's always just be about silly, stupid, crazy stuff that we just can't do in the serious films, and they're to blow off steam. And Serial Rabbit 7 is one of those things that, especially with social media now, social media influencers were our target on this one. We just went after the influencers and just saw, the silliness that we saw in reality, and wanted to poke fun of them for that. So that's where Serial Rabbit 7 came from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned collaboration. And to me, that's what comes across in the book.
Yeah.
Everyone there is having fun, and I think the way you brought up, everyone's invested in the film, and that's in a way how indie films should be made. It shouldn't be. It's tough for one director to have the complete vision and then allow everyone else to just follow him. But you kind of go through it, the whole brainstorming of the plot. I mean, I think I think the film mentioned that you guys started the brainstorming process in June of this year,
Yes.
and we're currently in October, and so that's kind of how fast you wrote, shot, and edited the show.
Yes. Yeah, and throughout the series, throughout Long Shot, we give you the dates to see how we're progressing, what we're doing. I think the first 4 or 5 episodes, especially with the pre-production, is a little slow because it's the paperwork, it's the planning, it's the scheduling. But we just started airing those production episodes, and I think that's where it gets really fun to see all the craziness, the zaniness, and again the collaboration. But yeah, the collaboration was key on this one, and it made it fun for the whole cast, the whole crew. And I say crew, and the whole crew is basically me and Joey. This whole movie was basically done with 2 people, and
Yeah.
I've got to say thank you very much to my producer, secondhand man Joey Venegas, who I couldn't make the films without him, because he's able to do everything that I can't.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That's how that works. All right. So tell me, how can our viewers see Long Shot and Serial Rabbit 7?
Well, Long Shot is on our is on YouTube. You can see it for free at Not So Sane on YouTube, as well as you can find our links directly on our website at notsosane.com. All of our films, including Serial Rabbit 7, are available on Amazon. We've still got a little bit. We're hoping we'll be on Tubi there pretty shortly with Serial Rabbit 7, but most of our recent films are on Tubi as well as Night Watchman. Oldest Posse will be out in November. So Amazon and Tubi are the places to look. If you want direct links, you can see them on our website at notsosane.com.
All right, great. Well, Brett, thank you very much. I appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the chance to be here, and I'm big fans.
Thanks.